Hey, best friends.
Welcome to another episode of The Bestie Advice, where we discuss all things relationships. And now for part 2.
I do want to ask you all this. So, a lot of times when it comes to couples and families, we get into this routine, this everyday routine. It may have started off with just a husband and a wife, or maybe a husband and a wife, a child could have been there. But, you have children, you may have a dog, you may have a cat, a bird, a fish, you have jobs, you have ministry, you have your businesses, just everyday life. And you get into this routine where you get up in the morning, you go to work, you come home, somebody cooks, so both of you all cook, you may straighten up the house, you may watch a movie, you go to bed, you get up the next day and you're doing the exact same thing. And I feel that a lot of times as married couples, we get so much into this routine that we forget about one another. We're taking care of the kids, we're taking them to their practices, or whatever, we're going to preach and teach and do all of that. And it's like, it's no time left for the husband and the wife to actually come together. And then you may be coming together. And like you say, it might be some of that duty booty where it's like, oh, tonight, okay.
But I'm gonna leave that alone. That's a whole nother teaching for a whole.
But it's like, you may get it in, but it's not, all of that, because it's a routine now.
Yeah.
So what type of advice and wisdom can you give to married couples to kind of put that fire, to strike that fire back up? You still love each other, but you have gotten so much into a routine that the fire has kind of sizzled down.
Oh, well.
When you look at him, you want to be like, oh, baby, I can't wait. And the same thing as far as with her, she's like, oh, I can't keep my hands off of you. So how do you get that all back?
So I'll say this. I heard you talk about all the things of life that this is one of the things, and there's probably a number of things, but we are intentional. We are intentional. I gotta stress it. We are intentional about having a good time. What do I mean by that? We have a saying: we work hard, but we play harder.
Yeah.
We are going to vacate. We are going to relax. There's going to be self-care. Yes. We get massages together. You hear me?
Yeah.
I guess like I said, well, we're going in the masseuse place, parlor, whatever you want to call it, together. And we, you know what I'm saying? We know how to, like, if we're going to work and we're going to do all of this for the family, we got to have time to ourselves. That's a part of it. But go ahead. And that keeps that spark.
Yeah.
And if I can break down what he's saying a little bit more detailed, is this: that I think that when you have that scenario that Karen just mentioned, you have to be intentional about maybe saying, let's just go downtown. Let's find a babysitter for the kids. Maybe you can't get to Jamaica. Maybe you can't get to Hawaii, but you know that there is this dim light. You watching your wife walk around in her bonnet. You watching him walk around in his boxers.
Yeah.
Nothing really in you moves, because you do have moments in seasons in your marriage that happens.
Right.
So I think, to his point about intentionality, there has to be somebody, if not both, to say, we got to spark this fire back. So let's not plan anything this particular weekend. Let's take the kids to grandma and them house, and let's just get a room downtown. If that means Friday night, all we do is sleep, sleep. But Saturday is the day for us to reconnect. Let's go to dinner. Let's walk down Navy Pier. We have a very beautiful city. The city of Chicago is beautiful, whether it's summer or winter, right? It give you that whole vibe feeling, but you have to be present. You can't come with me downtown just to please me and to shut me up, and you in your phone the whole time.
Right.
You can't come downtown with your husband and you trying to make deals and pray for sister so and so at the church. You have to have boundaries, and you both have to be present.
Yes.
And you both saying, I'm exhausted. If I'm so swing this body all around and this booty all up in the air, let me sleep Friday night.
Yeah. Right.
The phone's off. Let's up and go to breakfast, or let's have breakfast in bed, and let's look into each other's eyes again like we did before baby A, B, and C and all came. You understand? Good. Because what people are doing is they life, and then when the children are on their way to college, you don't even know your spouse.
Know that person. Yeah.
And now it's like we just together. No, God said that Jesus came that you may have life and live more abundantly. That goes back to that intentionality that I was talking about. We have to do that. There's times when we've done that. We can't get to Jamaica. And that's another thing. When the spark is low and it's like, okay, I've been with this person 10 years, 15 years. Get out of your bedroom that you sleep in every day, that the dog comes up and get in the room with, or the kids have been in there. Get you a room downtown.
Yeah.
One of these spicy rooms, because now they got these real nice spicy rooms. Right. They got the pool and the jacuzzi
and a swing.
All kinds of stuff.
Come on.
And you gotta be intentional. And do the due diligence and maybe spark your sex life again in another place, because we are creatures by habit. We go to the same room, we go to bed at the same time, we put the same bonnet on, or we do things the same way, and it can get very stale.
Yeah.
Right. And especially if you in ministry together. We had this moment in our marriage where he felt like I was more of a business partner than a wife. And I had to put on my big girl panties and really accept that. I didn't realize that I had got engulfed in ministry and building and intercessing and training and all of those things and paying bills. Let me tell you, if you listening to this and you married, marriage is more than raising children and paying bills.
Yes.
It's about being the most authentic you that you can be, and two lives, two people, two great humans, two souls becoming one. And I believe it takes a lifetime to become one. It takes more than 16 years, more than 25 years, more than 40 years, but you got to be intentional about desiring your spouse again. Get out of the house, get some sleep, and the next day, rock his work.
Right. And yes. You said wear them out.
And that's it. Thing with the spark, even when before getting to all that, it may sound, really whatever, but communication. You gotta talk about it.
Absolutely.
You gotta talk about it. That, if I can say anything else, for us, we talk about everything.
Yes.
And that's good.
Yes, that is good.
No, it hurts. Even if it hurt. And we didn't know this all the time. I mean, after, and we have a therapist and nothing's wrong. We just therapist just to be able to talk things out of our head and be able to stay healthy and have a healthy marriage. And they give us good tools and tips to work on. That's what we got that Fanos check-in from. But we communicate. We communicate. So I can't even know if the flame is low or dim if we don't talk about it. But we have made a safe space. Talk about things. We know, hey baby, you need to work on this. Hey baby, can I, and it really helped us. Ecclesiastes 4:11-16. I'm not reading all of that, but go and read it. This is a scripture, since we're talking about the fire and the flame. It says, again, if two lie together, then they have heat. Watch this. But how can one be warm alone? If one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken.
Yeah.
How do we keep I don't know if I'm moving ahead of myself, but keep the flame burning, keep the fire burning. We got to do it together.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
With God. The threefold cord represents me, her, and God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't do this by yourself. Marriage is work.
Yes, it is.
Oh Lord, marriage is a business. If you are thinking about getting married, or if you're married but thinking about getting, and you're believing that it's going to be easy and we just gonna wear nice outfits, matching outfits, and we're gonna be eating ice cream together, and we gonna, be laying down every day, well, you're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Marriage is work, baby. After they get through eating your chicken and your greens and your macaroni at the wedding, have you planned for a long-lasting marriage? Our wedding was beautiful, but Tribe told us, look, you need to be preparing for a marriage, not a wedding. So many people right now are just preparing for the day and not years.
Right.
My God.
Yeah.
And we didn't just plan for the day. I told her, if this don't work, I don't know if I'll ever be married again, because I planned on giving it one shot. I planned on being like, I told her, grandmom and them, I want to be married for 60, 70 years. And one day, if y'all see, what's our movie? Notebook. If you ever seen the movie Notebook.
Oh, yeah.
We just went to sleep together. I want to just one day be able to fall asleep, no sickness, no airplane accident, car accident. We just gonna fall asleep, baby. You ready?
And then it's Jesus coming back. He gonna part the clouds. Boom.
That's it.
And this for years. We just going, baby, you ready? I love you with my dentures and everything. And I love you. And we just gonna fall asleep together. How do you keep the flame going? One more scripture, and I won't give another scripture, but I want to give it to
you. Good.
1 and 6. We know it. It says in King James, what does it say? Hold on, let me get it real quick. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of God in thee by the putting on of my hands. Oh, it's about to get good. You got to stir up the gift. This is my gift from God. So my job to keep the spark going, and we both are each other's gifts, but our job is to stir each other up. Come on here. How? By putting on my hand. I'm going to leave that alone. But the Amplifier says that it is, watch this, that it is why I will remind you to stir up, listen at this, rekindle the embers. Stir up the embers in the fire. Watch this. Fan the flame of and keep burning. That amplifier to bless you. The gift of God, the inner fire. Watch this. You got to do some work. You got to stir up some stuff. You got to fan the flame. You got to keep up cool. We got to keep each other cool. I'm just going through the text. That's all I'm doing. Rekindle mean I got to keep kindling something. And we got to revive. I got to
keep rubbing up against.
Y'all don't remember the song. The song said, stir up the gift. Y'all remember that? Right?
Yeah, I like that song.
Lay your hands on me. I'm gonna lay my hands on.
I don't know that.
Stir up the gift, y'all. That's
I know that one.
It say, "Touch me, Lord." I'm gonna touch the Lord. I'm gonna
sing that in the choir.
Exactly.
About
all.
all.
No, that is really good. I think that. I mean, I could hear y'all talk all day. I have enough. It's really, really good. And I'm thinking about like a part 2 already. Like, we should bring them back for this. But I do have a question about, because I do know that you guys are first, husband and wife, you're married, you're family people, but there's another layer of ministry where you're a bishop and a pastor. And so now you are examples to so many married couples. There's pressure that come with ministries. We're hearing so many things about pastors quitting, committing suicide, getting divorced. I just went to London with my job, and we saw one of the speakers at the conference that we were at was Paula White, and she was talking about her situation. And I was just like, okay, Lord, no, wait, hold on, and I'm looking at all these pastors that are divorcing and remarrying, and then they married but having girlfriends, or they married and having boyfriends. And, so I know there could be a lot of pressure in ministry. How do you all balance that pressure of you now, you're a bishop, your wife, she's a pastor, you guys are husband and wife, but then there's that added pressure. How do you keep that balance with each other? And then another layer of that, and I rebuke it, but women can try to come onto you, or men can try to come onto you, just because of your position. How do you guys handle all of that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. You want to start?
Now she want to throw it at me. She want to throw it at me now. Later, huh? No. How do we keep the balance? Number one, I know we, definitely God, right? We cannot make it without God. But how do we keep that balance? Again, I'm repeating myself, communication.
It works for us.
Communicate. I promise you, because I have never communicated. I think I'm so on this because I've never communicated with an individual on this level ever in my life. Mm-hmm. Like, no, seriously, like I know I can tell her any and everything. She's not going to judge me. She's not going to talk about me. She's not going to look down on me. You get what I'm saying? She's not going to tell my business. It's all confidential. Right. I can cry on her. I can, and every man ain't like that. I'm just a unicorn, right? They ain't making a lot of us no more. But no, seriously, men are so we are strong. Don't get me wrong. Right. But you got to know how to be. I think that's what keeps me healthy and stress-free, is because I know how to if I need to let myself go, I can do that with her because it's a safe space.
Yeah.
You trying to jump in?
No, I'll let you finish.
But the balance is definitely, man, it's not a perfect marriage. This has not been a perfect marriage, but this was a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
I know we've heard it on movies, but she completes me. She balances me out.
That's good.
She don't like everything I like, right? We are opposites in a lot of ways, right? I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert, right? She's I can be a night owl. Well, yeah.
He's a multitasker.
Yeah, she's definitely not a multitasker. No.
I think one of the
so
things,
we balance each other out.
Yeah, I think one of the things that keep our marriage balanced, to Dr. Irene's question, is that, for one, we talk on the phone 50 times a day. Like, it started that way when we met 17 years ago, and we still do it. It's like sometimes we don't even be having really nothing to talk about, but we just call each other
on the phone.
So I think that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like I'm almost a level of his self-care for him. Like, he is able to talk out how he feels.
Yeah.
We, as he mentioned, we had to get to this point. Trust me with what he's saying. Like, I think sometimes husband and wives don't talk about everything because sometimes the spouse doesn't trust the other spouse with their emotions, with their thoughts, right? With their thinking. And I think that because we talk 50, 60 times a day, it helps to balance us. And then the second thing to your question, Dr. Irene, is that we've had some challenges in our marriage, in our 16 years. And I think that we've learned from those experiences that forced us to talk about some stuff, because some stuff was under the rug. But when it kind of came to a head, it's like, I saw this stuff coming. Why didn't I talk about it?
Right.
And so I think that we've learned from the experiences that we've had. And I think lastly is commitment means staying loyal to what you said, even after the mood is gone.
That's good.
We have to stay committed to each other. And then I think the fourth thing is a little bit of I'll speak for me, I can't speak for him, because we as women, we see other women. So I'll jokingly say, yeah, that's your type, ain't it, huh? You know, she look real nice, don't she? And so I think that's my way of letting him know I see her and I know you see her too.
Right.
So let's just smile.
You see him too.
Yeah, so I think that helps us.
Yeah.
Then lastly, I think it's important for us to make sure that we just checking in with each other to make sure we're okay. That goes back to that Thanos.
Yeah.
How you feeling about us?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need from me? You know, because the need is gonna tell it all.
Yeah.
If I need some stuff from you, this is what keeps us together.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do admire about him in our marriage is that as Dr. Irene asked about ministry, is that when we do ministry together, a lot of times, if not all the time, he doesn't take a meeting with a woman unless I could be a part of that meeting.
Yeah.
He'll tell me, he'll tell that person, you know, let me check with lady
Don't
first.
put me in no trick bag.
Let me check with lady first. Let's do X, Y, and Z. And I think that kind of helps.
I learned that from the old school pastors. They said, don't ever have no meeting with no woman without your wife in there with you. And they explained it to me, but yeah, definitely, you know, it's so on so many levels of just making sure, you know, what am I trying to say? That everything is clean and clear. Never put you in a trick bag and say this or say anything about you. Why? Because she's in that meeting with me.
Yeah.
Right? And the other thing she talked about, what was funny about balancing, about us checking in and on the phone calls, it was so bad in the beginning of us dating. Y'all don't remember Prime Co. Y'all don't remember US Cellular.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I had US Cellular.
I had Prime Co. That was my first phone.
Look, back in the day, y'all remember we had to have text packages. It wasn't no unlimited.
Right.
Oh,
it was so bad.
And after 9 o'clock.
She had to upgrade, excuse me, her package because I was texting her, calling her until they made unlimited. But thank God for me. Amen.
Yeah. And then the flip side is when we do ministry together, a lot of times, if God allows, we like to travel together. So we'll get to wherever that event is a day before the event to reconnect, right? We know if we're doing ministry or it's a conference happening, we'll go the day before so that we can be there's that intentional word about spending time together and reconnecting with each other. And then once that conference start or ministry work is happening, then we know, you know, that's about to happen. But we want to be able to do self-care together. We want to be able to check in with each other together. We want to be very intentional about keeping this marriage together because, you know, it just takes life to keep life and for your eyes to get wondering. But you start thinking, okay, this is the end of it. You know, I've done all that I can. Your kids are grown now. It's like, who are you? Who are you? You know, we don't know who we are. And so we understand that we're changing, you know. When I was in school getting my master's in undergrad, you know, he did everything in the house that I needed him to do because my goal was to graduate with honors. Right. So we are very leaned in to one another in what we need to keep our marriage, because marriage ain't for punks.
No, it's not. It's not for the weak. It's not for the weak.
Faint at heart. And 8 to 9 times out of 10, if you see me, you're gonna see her.
Yeah.
We do majority of everything together.
Yeah.
Maybe that don't work for everybody,
yeah,
but we do basically everything together. If people don't see me, they see me without her, well, you know, right, Karen? Because Lady K, right? They see me, they see her. They see her, they see me. So that's how we rock and roll.
Because that's all we had in the beginning of our relationship, friendship. It wasn't based on sex.
Right.
We was best friends. So I think that's what keeps our marriage spicy and the fire going too. Because when I'm upset with him, I can't be upset with my friend. I want to talk to my friend.
Right.
So I have to resolve this conflict that we got going on so I can talk back to my friend.
Yeah.
And I think that we know how to be friends. And I think if you don't know how to be friends and have healthy conflict, your marriage will struggle. You're going to be an individual that desires to be married, but don't want the benefits of marriage. Because this is the thing. I don't know if we're coming to the end, but one of the things I tell people as my ending thought is that marriage is development.
Yes.
And if you don't want to be developed, you don't want to be married. So if you're listening to this podcast tonight or today around the world, if you are a man or a woman that desires marriage, you are desiring development. Otherwise, you are desiring the flesh.
Yeah.
And if you are a person that is in marriage and your marriage is on the rocks or it's lost its flame, you have the power to get the flame back.
That's right. Stir it up.
It's do you want the power? Do you have the desire? Do you want to put in the work? Do you want to think about the development that's continuously coming? Because God didn't bring us together just to recreate and reproduce and extend our families. He brought us together so that we could push each other to our destiny, that we could push each other to another level of development. And when development is developed, there's forgiveness. You learn to forgive on another level. Just because your marriage has experienced infidelity or anything like that, there is a grace for that. And, you know, development is you being able to share how you feel without cussing your spouse out. Now you have blocked your language. You have limited your language when you start cussing. And guess what? You got to heal whatever your hurt was to your spouse. If you cursed your spouse, you got to heal that. So marriage is development.
That's good.
For us, before we ever laid down, she said it a little bit earlier, before we ever laid down with each other, we were intimate with each other's mind and heart. Before I ever entered in any space, we were intimate with each other's mind and heart. So we were. It was about how do you think? You know, see, it's everybody's trying to lay down, but how do you think? Do you love God? Do you love Him for real? See, I had a private issue with that because I've been with dated women in the past that they say they love God, and I was serious about it, right? Perfect individual, but you have to love God. You have to have a relationship with God for real. Don't just say you're a church to get with me. I've had those chicks, okay? And but we got to know each other's heart. We got to know each other's thoughts about each other and so on and so forth. And one of the biggest things, and I'll end too with this, is that we didn't get a chance to say this, but the confirmation, one of the confirmations for me was, we didn't say it and we don't have time to talk about it, is that I met her and we're on the phone, we're talking to each other. And all of a sudden, one day, she lets this guy get on the phone.
I thought about it, but I ain't
yeah, she lets this guy. We're not gonna go into the story, but she lets this guy get on the phone. I'm like, who is this? He said, hey, Clarence, how you doing? What's up? She asked me before he got on. She said, well, what barbershop you used to go to? All of a sudden, this guy gets on. What's up, man? This Ken. Her brother had been cutting my hair since senior year in high school, and I never met her.
Wow.
Comes full circle that I meet her, find out later that that's her brother.
Wow.
He's like basically a brother to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we'll talk about that on part 2. When you
Oh, part 2.
Wow. Information for me, because he's always been a good dude. Me and him are brothers, not even best of friends. We are brothers till this day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it made it easy for me to love her because that's her brother, like this, thick as thieves. It was all the better. And he kind of spoke on my behalf too. And here we are. And so I think for me, people should stop worrying about just trying to lay down physically and make sure you enter in mentally with a person. And with their mind, their heart, their soul. Because if I do that type of bonding, when we lay down physically, it's gonna be on and popping.
Fire.
I was about to say, there go the flames.
They go to right, yeah.
It's gonna be a blaze. I'm a fire. I know how to put fires out, but I came in a lot of fire.
I love it. I have like so enjoyed this conversation with you both. It has been amazing. And, for our besties out there that are watching, I know you guys have learned a lot. You have enjoyed this podcast. I want you to listen to it again, especially my single women. There's so many good nuggets in there. And yes, you both will be back for a part 2. It's so many questions that I want to ask. It's just amazing. And what I love about Kiran and our podcast is like her and I really have a passion about relationships, no matter, what type of relationship it is. Of course, her and I are wives first, but we're sisters, we're friends, we're mothers, we're co-workers, we're cousins, like all these different relationships. And we just want to help people truly have better relationships. And both her and I are passionate about our marriages, growing in our marriage. And so I know that you married people out there have learned a lot. So I want y'all, I took some notes. I'm gonna be calling you, girl, about this role playing. I can get my role play on, but I am so grateful to God for your transparency and your love for God's people really just came through in this podcast. So Kirana, I truly thank you so, so much.
Yes.
Besties, that's another podcast for the books. We want you all to become a bestie. So we want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Watch us on any platform. We're on YouTube, Instagram, we're on TikTok. That's our newest platform. We're on TikTok. So follow us on TikTok. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, on Amazon Radio. Listen to us on Apple, Spotify, every platform is the bestie advice. You cannot miss us. So we want you to join the family and become a bestie. So until next time, we love you. Bye, besties.
Bye.
For having us.
Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.